Back in 2019, I've changed my race from Chinese to Kayan. So why did I do that? And how did I do that? I will be sharing with you here today in this video. For those who have never heard of Malaysia before or never visited Malaysia before, actually Malaysia is a very vibrant and diverse country in Southeast Asia. It's renowned with the cultural heritage. It's a melting pot of various different ethnics as well. But for Malaysia, the main three races would be the Malays, the Chinese, the Indians, but then you have the numerous indigenous community in Sabah and Sarawak, which is in the island of Borneo. So even though Malaysia is a multi-racial country, but we do have like division between the Bumiputera and non-Bumiputera. So Bumiputera is actually in Malay language. So if you translate, that would be like indigenous people of Malaysia. So you have the indigenous people of Malaysia and the non-indigenous people of Malaysia. So what are the categories, or how do you categorize those under Bumiputera? So here in Malaysia, to be categorized as Bumiputera, you must be either Malay, your race has to be Malay, or the Orang Asli, which is the indigenous people of Peninsula of Malaysia, or the native of Sabah and Sarawak. In Sarawak, like we have Iban, Bidayu, Kayan, Kenya, Melanau, etc. And then in Sabah, we have Kadazan, Dusun, and etc. So those races or ethnics would be categorized as the Bumiputera. Whereas for the non-Bumiputera, typically those would be the Chinese, Indians, immigrants, and so on. So why do we have this Bumiputera status or non-Bumiputera status? Basically, the Bumiputera status comes with certain privileges under Malaysia. So they have like access to specific educational opportunities, economic benefits, and other like policy which are aimed to improve their socio-economic of these particular groups. My parents separated when I was 7, and back then life was really hard, especially financially, because my mom, she was a full-time housewife when she was still married to my dad. And then after the separation, she has to find job and raise us single-handedly, all 3 daughters by her own. Even though my dad did provide like allowance for that, but it's just not enough. Like even paying school fees or textbooks, it was a struggle for me. I remember like crying in the classroom because I always been the last person to pay up, and I feel like embarrassed about that. So all those kind of hardship, it just reminds me of how difficult life for me when I was young, but I worked hard for that, and I'm just really grateful to be where I am currently. And just to share what's the main, the impact of this Bumiputera status and non-Bumiputera status. I was back in secondary school when I was 15. We had this major examination which was PMR. So I got straight A's for the PMR, and myself, my cousin, and my classmates, we applied for Shell scholarship. So it's a prestigious scholarship for those who excel well in their studies. But apparently I didn't get the scholarship. The only thing that sets us apart, I think it's just because I'm non-Bumiputera, and my cousin and my classmates, they are Bumiputera. So I feel really sad and mad about that, because I really studied really hard for that, but in the end I didn't get anything, no scholarship or whatsoever for me, even though despite the life situation I was in, with the single parent and everything. So there's no financial assistance at all provided. Then fast forward in 2019, when a friend of mine shared that I can try an approach to change my race, because like currently it seems like the policy in Sarawak is that for mixed parentage, the parents actually can decide what race or ethnic they would like to assign to their kids. Compared to my time, during my time it's like you have to follow your dad's race or ethnic. Like my dad is Chinese, so obviously I'm automatically will be identified as Chinese in my birth certificate and all. So I took up that opportunity and went to the National Registration Department. I think I got the form. You can ask at the counter as well. You can get the form to get like amendment done to the birth certificate, or for your identification card to be replaced as well. So if not mistaken, this is under in Malay, Pindaan section 25 bracket 3. So you have to actually pay 10 ringgit for the whole process. So basically you have to fill out the form and you have to get it endorsed basically. I think I brought mine to the magistrate court in Miri, so I'll get that signed up by the officer. I think one of the officer as well that did like indirectly, like trying to test out whether I'm genuinely half Kayan or anything. So he did like converse in Kayan with me, so I did that as well. So I nailed it because I do speak Kayan with my mom as well. So we spoke Kayan during that whole process, and then he asked me a few questions before he endorsed and signed the form and the paper. But also, I think from my side, that time, we have supporting document as well, like stating my parents have been separated, and we have that formal letter to provide as well, like a supporting document, just in case if I need it. So after having that form filled up, then I returned it back to the National Registration Department. So I think you have to wait for your turn for that or updates before you can go back. So you have to get your identification card replaced, and they will provide you this extraction of birth certificate, like that will show you what's the amendment done there. And basically all of this information will be captured into your new identification card. So after I've got everything sorted out, I was just trying, to test it out whether it's true, because like once I got the updated or the replacement of my identification card, I remember one of the officer at the counter mentioned to me like, despite like changing my race, I'm not identified as Bumiputera or categorized as Bumiputera. So I was just curious, and so I went to the Amanah Saham Bumiputera, which is a unit trust fund which is specifically created for the Bumiputera individuals in Malaysia. So I went to the counter and I have to fill out forms and stuff. So of course it's like when, because I have my Chinese name and all, people would be like automatically identify me as Chinese, right? But so when I handed over my identification card and all, I guess all of the information there will tell, I'm a Kayan. So yeah, I've got through that, and I managed to have an account under Amanah Saham Bumiputera. So I guess that was the first step I was trying to achieve actually, because I wanted to have, the opportunity to save and invest for like a potential attractive returns. So that was the first thing that I did. But of course, like you have other privilege, like buying houses or land with a cheaper price for Bumiputera, or for those like trading and all, you have like specific stocks or something excess for the Bumiputera. So yeah, I'm looking forward like trying to explore that more as well and see. But seriously, this is like depending on the individuals, because my other two sisters are still, identified as Chinese. I was the only one that went and changed my race. And I think my dad has no issue with that, because I guess we were all grown up and, I am free to do whatever I want. I guess just as long as I do not get rid of my Chinese name, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, there you go, my sharing. I think it's more useful for those in Sarawak, because I'm not sure whether this policy is still maintained, but I think it should be. I just remember like when those days, right, even though we do not have this kind of policy, but when you apply for MARA scholarship, you will see that actually they did like spell out saying the Mara scholarship is actually applicable to those who have like either of the parent Bumiputera as well. So that's why I was like wondering, why is this like more lax compared to like, you know, for your birth certificate or for your identification card, like you have to follow your dad. But for Mara scholarship, however, they have like a bit like lax criteria. So that's all my sharing for today, and I hope that benefits for whoever in this kind of situation like myself. So I guess I will speak with you in the next video.